guys, it's the Football Den back for another Watchlist episode. It's time for game week 34, inching closer and closer to the end of the season. And it's now or never, guys. It's now or never. So let's just dig into it and see what options we have for this game week. So in goalkeepers, I'm not a fan of changing goalkeepers through the season, but at this crunch time, can an argument be made for removing? I mean, majority people have Martinez in their goal, right? So can an argument be made for getting in one of these keepers for Martinez, Karan?
Yeah, I can make a argument for that actually, considering that Martinez has really difficult fixtures coming up. Mendy, on the other hand, has kept 3 clean sheets out of the last 5 games, which is pretty good, right? And Chelsea are looking defensively solid. So I think Mendy is a good pick. Ederson, obviously, City has been doing well through the season, so he is obviously a good pick. But for me, I would prefer Mendy just because they have passed the eye test for me so far. But yeah, one of these two
Yeah.
over Martinez is a good choice.
But given the transfers, the transfers are going to be crucial for these last few game weeks. So are you willing to not waste, but spend one of your transfers and buy them at a premium, like buy keepers like this at a premium?
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just take that one, Karan. So I think the only way I would be convinced to get in a keeper is for playing a bench boost, right? So I'm sure people save their bench boost towards the end of the season. For all those who have already played it, tough luck. But those who haven't played it, Mendy is, I think it's the best option because you see Martinez is Aston Villa keeper and he's more expensive than a Chelsea keeper. Who would have thought that would be the case in any of the FPL seasons? But we know what Tuchel is about. You can see the stats here. Mendy expected goals conceded. It's just half a goal. I mean, that's pretty good, right? And again, throughout the season, his save percentage. I mean, not throughout the season. But at least when you go to see his save percentage in the big games as well, I feel like he's pretty good. You know, Chelsea in the big games, they come in and they're going to face some big opposition towards the end of the season. So I'm rooting for them even when they're playing against City or against Arsenal. I see him making saves. I see him keeping clean sheet at least in one of them. So I think Mendy is the right choice here. I'm not so sure about Ederson because their mind would be focused on Champions League. But I think Chelsea need this more than ever, the top four, because I don't see them beating Real Madrid, and Mendy would be my choice for this one.
Yeah, I agree to that. The only reason I wouldn't pick Ederson is not because, that they can't keep clean sheets or anything like that. It's just that the price point is a little too high for a goalkeeper. 6.1 is something that I'm not willing to splash on a keeper at this point of the season. But Mendy is definitely a good shout. Okay, moving on. I think we should look at defenders for this particular game week. We have Castagne up front. What do you guys think about Castagne, guys? He's been performing well over the past few game weeks. Leicester have a easy run of fixtures for the next 2-3 games. Would you consider bringing him in, Amber?
Yeah, I mean he is someone who gets forward attacking wise, and Leicester have had a good run of fixtures, but towards the end of the season, bro, they are facing some tough opposition.
That's true.
So I'm not sure if I want him in my team for the long run. But if you're just talking about the next few game weeks, maybe 1 or 2 game weeks, see against Southampton, I still want to see him for this particular game week. They haven't played their game yet. I think Southampton fixture is a good one. I don't see Southampton having much to play for, and Leicester have it all to play for, so they are going to be going for it. But apart from that, I don't see him for the long run.
Well, considering that there is a possible game week in hand, game week 34 might be a double game week for Leicester, and they'd be playing Newcastle and Manchester United. I do expect them to keep a clean sheet in the Newcastle game. Southampton, okay, yeah, maybe they can, but he is an attacking threat. We can see he's kept 2 clean sheets. His expected goals, okay, sorry, His expected conceded goals is somewhere around 0.68, which is decent, not bad. And I think he's a good shout out. What do you think, Pathare?
So see, for me, he's kind of a long term. He's already in my team. He's long term because I would say, apart from the possible double game week, I think he's playing the game week after that as well, which might be a blank game week for some of the teams.
Yep.
So that's definitely an added. And last game week we saw he created an assist also. So maybe he can move more forward now since Madison is back. And I feel he's going to give good defensive as well as attacking return because he has an easy run of fixtures.
Yeah, because on the flip side, I think we had discussed Fofana, right? And then we saw he did come off early because he is fasting, and we got to keep that into consideration. You don't want a player to be not playing a full 60. But on the flip side, I just wanted to say that if he is coming off on 60, 65, and they are keeping a clean sheet till then, I mean, that's a bonus for all of us, guys. So there is something to consider there. But when there's no debate,
yesterday, I had a similar situation when Chelsea were playing and Aspi played like 85 minutes and came off. I got the clean sheet and I wanted the other team to score after that to like get double the points, but that didn't happen.
Pathetic.
That's man.
Talking about Chelsea.
You didn't share all the info. You're not allowed to talk.
Oh, whatever. You should have done your own research. Talking about Chelsea and Azpilicueta, let's move on to our second choice here. We have Rudiger. He is not known for his attacking returns. He's a centre back, but he comes at a good price point, right? And
brilliant price point.
For 4.7, I think I already have him in my team. I've had it for the longest time now. But would you guys consider transferring him in for this particular game week? They're playing Fulham.
I also have him since a few game weeks now, and he the perfect choice because when we talk about Chelsea, we're talking about Mendy, we're talking about only clean sheets. We are not expecting attacking returns from Chelsea defenders, right? Yep. And at this price point, I don't think you can get any other Chelsea defenders. So there's nothing really to think about. He's got a good run of fixtures. He's very cheap. You can see the stats; they don't lie here. So he is, I think, the best choice for even this game week because Fulham, I see a clean sheet there.
Yeah, there's 3 clean sheets in the last 5 games. That is phenomenal. Like, what more do you want from a defender, right? Unless and until he's like a Trent who's going to give you more attacking returns than defensive. I think he's defensively solid. Yeah. Okay, so that's about Rudiger. And our last choice, interesting one, Dallas. I think Stuart Dallas is a good shout because of the upcoming fixtures that Leeds have. At 5.2, he is, I have him again. I have him in my team already. 2 goals in the last 5 game weeks, both of them coming against City. But he has taken some good shots in the opposition's half in the previous games as well. What do you guys think?
So I think you should see where he's been playing recently. He's been playing around the midfield area, even though he's marked as a defender. He had a couple of shots on United's goal as well. They were not hit very hard, but they were pretty decent on-target shots. So we can see that he's getting around the penalty area and he's getting either creative or mainly he's getting the goal chances. So for Leeds, where goals are currently not coming from their strikers, he could be a good shout-out given Leeds have decent fixtures so far.
And with Dallas, I feel like with Dallas, the thing is, when you don't have him in your team and he is at it, that one game week can compensate for the 3-4 game weeks where he hasn't kept a clean sheet or not, given any returns. So with Dallas, you get points in bulk. You'll either get 12 or 15 altogether, or you might just get a 2. So it's up to you guys if you want to take a punt on this one. I believe he is worth taking a punt on because at this stage of the season, you want those differentials. So even though he might not be a differential in your in the world altogether, he can be a differential in your league per se. So you can definitely go for this guy.
Yeah, he's still owned only by 26% managers. That's still a quarter of the managers that are playing the league, but that's not bad, right?
Exactly.
And he's a bit like Lundstrom from last season.
Yeah. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, put in as a defender on FPL, but he is known to play in the midfield. So those are the three defender picks that we have for this particular game week. We have kept the double game week in mind. So Leicester and Chelsea both might have a double game week, and these two players in the defense are pretty good shout outs for the double game week as well.
So the
Moving
double
on.
game week will probably be in 35, right?
Yep, 35. Moving on to the midfielders. Amber, Bale, what do you have to say about him?
I mean, this was a bit of a debate, right, guys? Whether we want to bring in Bale or Son or what do we want to do here? Because when we talk about Tottenham, it's just so much uncertainty, man. Who's gonna start? Who's probably gonna give points? Because we know Son is definitely gonna start, but you can't get these days. You can't guarantee points from Son. And on the flip side, you don't really know whether Bale is gonna start, but it looks like he's more likely to score.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a battle, to be honest, for this one. And I love the element of surprise when it comes to Bale, because literally he is like, the literal differential in everyone's team if you have him, because his ownership is just not there up there at the moment. But I'm not convinced about Bale. So do you have something that can change my mind?
Like the only thing I can... Yeah, go ahead.
So I share your concern. In fact, I'm concerned about Spurs players in general because first of all, they made the worst decision of removing the one person who could probably win them a trophy at the wrong time. And then, I feel they've lost morale, and the previous few games they just don't look interesting enough. And even though they have good fixtures coming up, that's one of my biggest concerns. Is Spurs still big enough that they'll go and win those games with interesting goals?
Well, Sheffield United, Leeds, and Wolves. Those are the next three fixtures. Wolves just got battered last night by Burnley. So I think they have a good run of fixtures, and Bale is owned, like Amber said, he's owned only by 3% managers. So if you do have him, then he's a big differential to have at this point in the season. He did score a pretty good goal against Southampton, if I'm not wrong, this game week. And he passed the eye test for me there. And I think that's the only reason why he's on this one instead of Son. Son being owned by 45% managers didn't make sense to come on our watch list. Moving on, we have Maddison from Leicester. He hasn't played a lot in the past few game weeks. That's why those stats aren't as convincing. He was out with injury, but in the last game he looked good, and I think now is a good time to bring him in.
Definitely, as a main creator for Leicester. So as a main creator for Leicester behind two prolific goal scorers, I think he's a wonderful shout at this point with Leicester's easy fixtures, and Iheanacho can't stop scoring at the moment. Vardy also put one past last game week. So definitely if good creation might come from this too.
Yeah, and yet again, I don't know why, but at this stage of the season, I am a bit skeptical in getting players that aren't in form or aren't doing it or haven't done it in the past few game weeks. So I feel like again a punt, if it goes right, it'll be amazing. If it doesn't, you're gonna be stuck. So make sure, guys, if you're going for punts like Bale and Maddison, you do have a bench that can take the load, because if these guys don't end up playing, you will be in trouble if you don't have the right players on your bench. So I wouldn't suggest people going for these kind of players without a strong bench. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Maddison. I need to see him at least start one game, and see what kind of role is he playing, and if he's even fit enough to play an entire game. Even though he did play the FA Cup game, I still want to see where that goes. But when it comes to Pereira, oh my, a West Brom player in the watch list, guys. What's happening?
Yeah, dude, I did not... Actually, he's been performing well. I've had my eyes out for him in the past few game weeks, but I never had the balls to bring him in because after all, he's a West Brom player. They're fighting relegation. There is absolutely, no way that he should ideally be in anyone's FPL team, but he's been doing well for himself. He scored 4 goals, given 2 assists over the past 5 game weeks, which is, astonishing for someone coming from West Brom who are literally on the brink of relegation.
So, like, I was very surprised to see these stats when I was making the presentation because I've always heard of him this season as like that guy who screwed Chelsea over and that's it, like both the games. But these stats are pretty good, and I mean, even Wolves have conceded almost 3 goals per 2 games. So like that's a very high. So goals are coming from West Brom. It's going to be from him or Diang now, the striker.
Yeah.
But he looks like the prolific one.
Yep. So
Yeah,
that
I don't know if Wolves should be marked as a green fixture, guys, because it was just one morning where they got battered. Come on, let's not give them such a hard time. So Wolves still is solid defensively, yeah, I think that this entire video is more of differentials, I guess, this time than getting in players who we know are doing the job in and out. Because come on, let's face it, guys, we already have all those players who have been doing it throughout the FPL season. So now is the time to shake things up. So I think Pereira is a pretty good shot for the form that he's in. And again, as you guys mentioned, he is the more likely to score in their team.
Yep. And moving on from a differential midfield to a differential forward line, we have Chris.
Oh my
Interesting.
reactionary merchants are here now. I can't believe this guy is here.
Well, Chris Wood, he has been performing through the second half of the season. His stats don't lie. He has been taking the most number of shots in the box as a striker, and after yesterday's hat trick, he deserves to be on here, is what I felt. What do you guys have to say about that?
Inflated stats, bro. Inflated stats.
You feel?
Yeah, I
I mean,
he comes here. I think we need to raise the standard of the channel a bit and make sure that we are giving we're not giving reactionary shouts here. But I can't deny he even if you remove his hat trick from there, he has 2 goals and 3 assists.
Yep.
So he is the one in form. He is a differential yet again. That's just been the theme of this video today. So I don't see why not take a punt on him, because the strikers that we have currently, everyone has Kane. Okay, let's face it. And the other guys that we have, probably Bamford, probably a lot of people had Antonio, they got rid of him, and probably Watkins, who is the other pick. So he does have a space. Like there is one empty space for striking in everyone's team right now. So why not him?
Yep, he's owned by 2.2% managers, and that clearly makes him a differential. He has West Ham as the next fixture. West Ham have Balbuena out because of a red card. So
leaky defense in the past few game weeks for them as well.
Yeah. They have conceded. Oh, okay. I don't know how many goals West Ham conceded in the previous few fixtures, but they have conceded quite a few, and that makes Chris Wood a good shout. He can remain. I think he's the only Burnley striker who has remained fit through most of the season. So if there's anyone in that Burnley team who's going to score, I think it's going to be Wood. Moving on to another. Yeah. Do you have something?
So I think. I think all of these, like Amber said that we must be like kidding and all because we put such names on this differentials and all. But like his perspective is from he's more higher up the table, so he wants to maintain his team and not go for punts so much. But today's differentials, I feel people are kind of in the mid-table range. So if these players perform, they definitely can push their ranking. If he gets a goal or 2, whereas other established strikers might not.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about another differential, Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins has done well through the last few games. 2 goals and 1 assist.
Coming up with assists and goals out of nowhere, guys. I mean, what even? Come on.
The 21st second assist against City. I was just like, yo, what just happened? But yeah, Ollie Watkins is a good shout. He has El Ghazi along with him up ahead. I think if...
Told that guy also and he returned something.
Yeah.
So, Ollie Watkins, what are your thoughts on that, Rohit?
Well, I feel Everton defense is a good one. So given that Aston Villa have a very so-so attacking this thing output at the moment. Like, of course, they scored against City, but still, I don't see Aston Villa as a formidable attacking threat at the moment. So, with Everton's decent defense, I'm not sure. This is like a differential only, like you said. He may or may not score.
Yeah.
But he's got quite a bit of ownership, guys. I don't see him as a proper differential, but I do see him as someone that you may regret for not having more than, the excitement of having him, which is what I'm facing right now because I had Bamford for the longest time hoping, his slump would get over. And I saw this guy is just racking up 5 points, 6 points, 5 points. So slowly and steadily, he is giving you those returns. So a bit of assurity there. And I think he is probably the most sane choice in today's video.
Yeah, with Barkley, McGinn, and El Ghazi creating the chances, I think there is a fair chance of him scoring at least a goal or creating one. So those are the two forwards that we have. Is there anyone apart from these picks that we have in this video that you would be considering in your watch list, Amber?
Well, I did think about Tottenham defense as we do every week when we see a weak fixture. But guys, that team is shit. That team is shit. Like, I have been wanting to get Reguilon for such a long time looking at the fixtures for Tottenham. But every week they prove why I shouldn't be getting any defender from that fucking team. So I did have Reguilon in mind, but super duper skeptical about the defense. So I don't think I'm going to be going for that one.
What about you, Pathare?
No, I don't have anyone as such. I feel my current team doesn't need transfers at the moment, at least. But if I'm looking to get someone, I will discuss that tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna consider anyone else outside this watch list either. These are the players that are pretty much the differentials that you would want to have if you're trying to catch up in the league, and that's that. So like, share, and subscribe the video, and press the bell icon so you don't miss a video from us, and we'll see you on the next one.